Comparing, ordering, and rounding decimals. Lesson objective. Number 1, compare and order decimals. Number 2, round decimals. Lesson objective. For many types of continuous quantitative variables like height, weight, time, distance, etc., decimal numbers are used to provide more precision and are present in many data sets, and this is including the student survey data. In statistics, there are situations when you must compare decimals. For example, when we do hypothesis testing, you're going to be comparing what's called a p-value to an alpha level. In this video, we will compare, order, and round decimals. Let's begin. Determine the smallest and the largest number for this data set. We have 0.3, 0.27, 0.4, 0.305, 0.52, and 0.05. So let's do a quick review of decimal places. All values to the left of the decimal point are decimals. The first digit to the left is the tenths, next is the hundredths, next is the thousandths, so on and so on. So for our first value, 0.3 means 3/10. Next, 0.27 is 27 hundredths. 0.4 is 4/10. 0.305 is 305 thousandths. 0.52 is 52 hundredths. And the last value, 0.05, is 5 hundredths. In order to compare these decimals, we need to give all of them the same decimal place, which in this case would be 3 decimal places. And we can add zeros to the left of the decimal point anytime we need more decimal places. So 0.3 is the same thing as 0.300 or 300 thousandths. 0.27 becomes 0.270 or 270 thousandths. So once all these decimals have the same number of decimal places, we can compare. The smallest value would be 0.05. The largest value would be 0.52. So we can see here in the tens place, 5 is the largest, and therefore in this example it is the biggest number. We can also see from the tens place that this is the only value that has a 0 in the tens place, so it's the smallest. Let's do another example. Which of the following decimal places is the greatest? Which is the smallest? And lastly, what is the difference between the greatest and the smallest? So our first step is we want to add zeros if need be to the left of the decimal place, so all the values have the same number of decimal places. So the greatest value, we can see we have a whole number 2 here and a whole number 2 here, but 0.6 is bigger than 0.2, so 2.6 is the largest value. The smallest would be this value, 0.02. The difference between those, difference means we subtract, so we take 2.6 and we subtract 0.02 and we get 2.58. Put the following decimals in ascending order, and that means smallest to largest. So we have 6 values here and they all have different decimal places. So our first step is to add zeros where needed. So we have 4 decimal places for each value. We can clearly see that the smallest number is 0.375. The largest number, because there is a 1 in the ones place, is 0.12. The first number will be 0.375. Next would be 0.402. 0.42 is a little bit larger. Next would be 0.85. Next would be 0.9506. And then finally we have 1.2. So this is the ordering and ascending order. Which of the following is the correct descending order? And that means highest to lowest. So we have 3 decimal places, 2 decimal places, 3, 2, and 2. So all these need to add a 0, so we can see here 0.53 is larger than 0.503. This is the smallest number, 0.357. 1.57 is the largest. 0.73 is second to the largest. So since we are doing the largest value to the smallest, 1.57 should come first, so C is not correct. And then the next value after that's 0.73, so D is not correct. So the difference between A and B now is these two values here. 0.53 is larger than 0.503. B is the correct answer. Lesson objective number 2. During this course, you will be asked to give an answer to a problem to a certain place value, most likely a given decimal place. In most cases, your final value will either round up or down. This process is called rounding, and you will use this skill throughout the course. For example, most situations involving money require values rounded to the nearest penny, and that's the same thing as two decimal places. So here's the procedure on how to round. Number 1, you decide which is the last digit to keep. That is the digit that we are rounding to. Next, leave it the same if the next digit to the left is less than 5. This is called rounding down. But you increase it by 1 if the next digit to the left is 5 or more. This is called rounding up. So why do we use 5 as a cutoff point to round up, and if it's less than 5 to round down? So let's look at our possible choices. So in a certain place value, the digit can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Well, for the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, these values would round down, and there's 5 of them. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The other 5 values that are left, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those are the values which we round up. So you have 5 digits that round down, and you have 5 digits that round up. Let's do some examples. Round 84 to the nearest tens place. So 8 is the digit that we want to round to. We look to the digit left of 8, which is 4. Since this is less than 5, we round down, so 84 rounds to 80. Next, to the nearest tens place, that would be 9. We look to the digit left of 9, which is 7. Since 7 is more than 5, we round up. So since 9 rounds up, this becomes a 0, and this 1 becomes a 2. So our final answer becomes 200. Next, if we're rounding to the nearest hundredths place, our digit is a 3. So this means this value is either going to round to 300 or to 400. We look to the digit to the left of 3, which is a 7. That means the 3 is going to round up to a 4. Everything else becomes zeros. So that's 400. So 374 is closer to 400 than it is 300. Next, to the nearest hundredth, so that means it's either going to be 600 or 700. We look to the digit to the left of 6, it's a 2, so that means this rounds down, the 2 becomes a 0, and our final answer is 600. Let's practice some decimals. So if we round to the tens place, that's the same thing as saying rounding to one number after the decimal point. Rounding to the hundredths means we leave 2 numbers after the decimal point. Thousandths means 3 numbers after the decimal point, and so on. So let's look at this example. Round 3.1416 to the nearest hundredth, tenth, thousandth, and whole number. So the nearest hundredths, 2 decimal places. We look to the digit to the left of the 4. It's a 1, so that means we round down. So the 1 and the 6 become zeros, which, since they are to the left of the decimal point, we can leave them off. This rounds to 3.14. To round this number to the nearest tenth, that's 1 decimal place, we look to the digit left of 1, which is a 4. Again, that means we round down. all the digits to the left of 1 become a 0, so this would round to 3.1. To the nearest thousandth is 3 decimal places. The digit to the left of 1 is 6, that means we round up, so this becomes 3.142. To the nearest whole number, that's the ones place, that would be 3. So we look to the value left of 3, that's a 1, so this rounds down. So 3.1416 rounds to the nearest whole number, that would just be 3. Let's do one more example. Round 104.9672 to the nearest hundredth. Hundredths is 2 decimal places, that's a 6. The digit to the left of 6 is a 7, that means we round up. Our answer is 104.97. To round this number to the nearest tenth, that's 1 decimal place, that's a 9. The digit to the left of 9 is a 6, that's 5 or more. The 9 rounds up, and we have the 9 becoming a 0 and the 4 becoming a 5, so we have 105.0. We leave the 0 here to tell the reader that we are rounding to 1 decimal place. To the nearest thousandth, that's 3 decimal places, that's a 7. The 2 is smaller than the 5, so this rounds down, so we have 104.967. To the nearest whole number, that's our 4. The number to the left of 4 is a 9, that means we round up, so this becomes a 105. To the nearest tens place, that would be our digit of 0, so either that's going to stay a 0 or go up 1. I look to the number to the left, it's 4. We round down, everything else becomes zeros, so this number rounded to the nearest tens place is 100. And finally, to the nearest hundredths place, that's the digit of 1, so either this is going to round to 200 or it's going to round to 100. We look to the number to the left, it's a 0, which is less than 5, so it rounds down, so this number rounds to 100. Thanks for watching.